Welcome to Encounter, where we celebrate putting faith into action and community leaders who live out compassion, grace, and love. We're a program of the Broome County Council of Churches that addresses food insecurity through Chow and the Greater Good Grocery, provides hospital and jail ministry, builds wheelchair ramps, and assists neighbors with transportation and shopping services through Faith in Action volunteers. We invite you to the conversation. Encounter your neighbors as we learn to walk together in love and kindness.
Good morning and welcome to Encounter. I'm your host today, Joe Sellepack. One of my favorite Psalms is Psalm 24. It begins with these words: "The earth is the Lord's and all that's in it, the world and those who live in it, for he has founded it on the seas and established it on the rivers." One of the things that we find throughout the Bible pretty much is that God loves the earth. God made it. God invested in it, and then God gave us as human beings to steward it, to care for it, and to be involved with creation and helping tend and mend and make it more whole. One of the organizations that I think of when I think about this part of God's Word and about the work that we do here at the Council of Churches, also through in many partnerships that we've had with this organization over a period of time, has led me to understanding even that gardening is a part of our ability to tend and to mend the world. And to help us understand a little bit more about how we can all engage within the act of gardening and being able to enjoy the fruits of the earth and that abundance that Psalm 24 talks about, is the folks from Vines. Amelia Lodolce is the executive director at Vines. Welcome to Encounter this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and Tshijuka. I knew I was going to get this wrong. You see, this is the thing. She, like cheese, you said. Tshijuka.
Yes.
All right. I will try to get this better. This is part of my growing edge. I'm my tongue doesn't roll like it should have when I was younger. So we'll just call it my old tongue. Welcome to Encounter, Tshijuka.
Thank you so much for having us.
So let's start off by talking about why should people garden? What's important in gardening when you think about it?
I think that not only is gardening, something that can produce food for your family, right, or for your community, but I think it's something that really grounds us and helps keep us connected to the natural cycles of life of the year. And it just connects us to something bigger than ourselves, and provides just so many benefits through that process. Now
that we've so right now we're kind of in between seasons. We're entering into spring and all that kind of thing. What are people doing in their gardens at this time of year?
I imagine a lot of people watching that are gardeners, they've related to the fact that, this time of year, you want to start going and getting your garden set, and then it gets cold again and you realize it's not quite time, but it is a good time to start doing a little bit of cleanup and getting prepared outdoors, but also you can start seeds now indoors to get them ready to transplant in a month or so.
Yeah. A lot of my wife has some colleagues who are gardeners that are itching to get out, so much so that they started talking about doing it this weekend. And we had snow this week, so it's really not conducive to making sure that you keep your plants healthy, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So, Tshijuka, what is your role at Vines?
I'm the youth program manager at Vines, so I manage the Grow Binghamton Youth Employment Program and the Build a Garden program.
All right, and what are those?
The youth employment program is called Grow Binghamton, and it employs youth ages 14 to 21 from the city of Binghamton. And they come and they work at our Binghamton Urban Farm, which is located downtown at 16 Tudor Street. And they do seeding, harvesting, packaging, and prepare produce to be distributed for our Farm Share program, which is our CSA.
Yeah, the CSA. And so, are you currently looking for people for that program?
We are currently in the process of hiring for that program. Our applications are open and they're available on our website, and they'll be open until April 15th when applications close.
So what's the website where those things can be found?
www.vinesgardens.org.
And if a student or like what age group are you looking for?
Ages 14 to 19.
14 to 19?
We're typically looking for youth that haven't had work experience before, that are looking to get into the workforce and are looking to gain more skills, because it's not just, they're not just farming
Right.
at Grow Binghamton. We also provide them with workshops on resume building. We also do financial literacy, and they're being paid for all of the work that they do during that time.
So it's more than just getting them a job. It's kind of helping them understand it vocationally, like what could your future maybe look like, right?
Yes, I think that it's a great program for someone who wants to work, and it's also important to be able to empower the youth that we have in our community right now.
And what are some? I know that you were at my Rotary Club just a few weeks ago, and you shared some stories of people that had been impacted by this. Can you share any of those?
Yes, I can. Just recently, I spoke with one of the youth that has been in a leadership position in our program who had gone on to college, and they have told me that they have been successful in getting a job in a leadership position there at their college using the skills that they had learned here at Grow Binghamton. And so they're going to be a RA at their college.
RA?
Yeah.
That's actually, there's money involved in that one.
There's money involved in that one, and I'm really, really proud of them.
Yeah, this is good stuff. So Tshijuka spoke about the CSA, Amelia. Can you tell us a little bit about what's involved in that?
Sure. So our Farm Share program, it's like a veggie subscription. It's also called CSA, Community Supported Agriculture. That's a model some folks may have heard of. So you sign up for Farm Share, you get a box of produce every week from mid-June till the end of October. And what's really wonderful about our program is that we've made it very convenient for folks. We have 14 pickup sites around the county. Our goal is to have it within walking distance of people's homes so that they don't have to get in a car to come to us. So a lot of our members don't have cars. We also provide up to 75% off if you're using your SNAP benefits. So it has a sliding scale fee to make it affordable for as many people as possible. And when you sign up for that produce, you're going to get recipes and samples of recipes so you can learn how to prepare the food, so that if you get something in your share that you've never seen before, you're not lost. We support people through that process. So signups are going to be open in mid-April, and you can sign up anytime during the season. That's another benefit of the way that we run the program. You can sign up anytime, and we have 3 farms to pick from, including our urban farm, so folks can purchase the produce that our youth are growing.
And so when you share that story, I remember once we had gotten a shipment of eggplants from the that came into the Chow warehouse, and we were looking at them going, people, we know what an eggplant is and how to eat it and all the rest of it, and how to use it. But then we started asking the question, well, what does people that have no idea about an eggplant, how would they do it? And so to your point, I mean, it's important to not only get the produce, but also know how to utilize it and make it palatable for anybody, right?
Yeah, exactly. And another great benefit of our program and the way we run it is that each distribution site is run by a volunteer, and a lot of our volunteers themselves live on limited incomes, so they know what to do to stretch their food dollars. And our members, our volunteers, they're always sharing information and supporting each other. And I think that's just such a great added benefit of having a place that you go to pick up your produce from a person you're going to see every week who can, share ideas with you and, commiserate over the weather and just, connect on a human level when we're increasingly isolated in our communities.
We are, and that human element is so important, especially these days when you have things like AI or you have other things that tend to be things that we go to almost automatically without that human connection. It's you don't see the transaction at all in a human way. It's all just I'll give you my money, you give me my food, and I'll take it home. So how important do you think that is for that whole cycle of understanding where your food comes from? Tshijuka, when you think about the kids who you're helping and for them to be able to understand how food is grown and how it's produced and where it goes.
Last year we did a workshop on just understanding what the food system was like globally and locally and how the impact affects the community and the food that you eat. And when you grow your own food, you have more of a accountability for like the quality of the food that you produce, and also the nature in which you produce that food. Like what you put into it, whether you put in pesticides, whether you put in any types of chemicals. We don't do that, but it's also important to, like, when you pick something from the ground, if you're able to taste that right from the ground, it's a completely different experience. And the youth also, they've had workshops where they've cooked with the food, and they seem to really enjoy it, just being able to go through the whole entire process.
Right.
There are kids that are with us through the academic year program that are seeding the things that we put in the farm, and then they'll move on to the summer where they're picking it, and they're seeing people interacting with people during the distribution. They're like, oh yeah, I did grow this. Oh yeah, I know, I'm really aware of what this plant is, where it comes from, how to use it, what it tastes like. I know all about it. And I think that's really important, to just have that knowledge in yourself, to know I did this, I was able to do this, and I know what to do with the things that I've produced.
It almost sounds like empowerment in a certain way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that now they know where their food comes from, and they know how to produce it, how to utilize it, and then how to make. It's funny because in our culture, we don't realize that perhaps that the milk that we get from a grocery store comes from a cow, because we just see it in the grocery store. We go through there, and kids get kind of, and Amelia, you probably knew this because you were raised in a farm, but in some ways the kids will walk through a grocery store, not know that it comes from a cow, then get a surprise when they actually go to a farm, see where it comes from, and then they oh wow, it actually comes from a cow. But there's something to making that connection and showing the connection that's involved in agriculture that helps them understand that what we do to the earth, what we do to the world has consequences, right?
Absolutely. And we're pretty separated from our food supply, right, and food production in America. And this is one way to connect not only our youth but people of all ages to that process by having gardens, having a farm right in the city. And it also just makes it possible for people to have more green space in their urban environments. So there's just so many benefits to urban agriculture, but ultimately it comes down to those relationships and the human impact. That's what makes it so fun and valuable and rewarding to be in this work.
So my guests today are Amelia Lodolce, Lodolce. Don't-
We gave you hard names today.
I know,
That's okay.
it's so terrible that way. You know, it's just the way that my old tongue is kind of having problems today. Executive Director at Vines, and Tshijuka Nelson from who is a program director working with youth and with some of the other programs at Vines. So as we're going forward from here, you know, if people want to get connected to your CSA, how would they do that? The community supported agriculture, and you buy shares and all the rest of that kind of thing.
Yeah, folks want to be able to get produce that we grow at our urban farm. They can sign up through for our farm share program through our website, vinesgardens.org, or they can give us a call, 607-205-8108.
Now, are there other ways that people can connect with you outside of the CSA? Like, what kind of programs do you have that are coming on for people that want to get involved in gardening or other kinds of things like that?
Sure, yeah, we have 22 community gardens across Broome County. And so if folks are interested in growing their own food, but either they don't have the space at home, or they have deer in their backyard who eat everything, or you want to be in an environment where you have a little bit of support to help you learn, community gardens are a great option. We have over 500 garden beds available to people that we rent out on a sliding scale fee. We ask people to pay $30. If they can't afford it, they don't have to pay anything. If they can pay a little more to support the program, that's welcome also. And so those signups are open right now. Some of our gardens are nearly sold out, so if folks are interested in that, they should go to our website and sign up pretty soon. And then to help people learn how to grow food and then prepare what they've grown or what they've gotten through their farm share program, we have free workshops called our Green Thumb workshops. So those are all year round. We held about 40 workshops last year.
Oh, wow.
I'm teaching one this coming Saturday, Gardening 101. We'll have a repeat of that in another couple of weeks. Gives you all the basics you need to get started.
And so, like, where are some of your gardens?
We operate the Atsaningo Community
Okay.
Garden. A lot of folks are probably familiar seeing that on the highway as they drive into Binghamton on 81. And we've got them all across the city of Binghamton, but we're also in Johnson City, Endicott, Endwell, Vestal as well.
So Tshijuka, where would the kids be working?
The kids work at the Binghamton Urban Farm, which is in downtown Binghamton.
So that would be right in, is that the one off of Carroll Street or, yeah. Okay, very good. And you want to tell us a little bit too about the building program that you all went through and the facility that you have there.
Sure. Do you want me to talk about that or you want to
The
take it?
building?
Yeah.
The building that we are currently in is a straw bale building.
Mm-hmm.
It is the only commercial straw bale building, I think, maybe is it New York State?
Yeah, it's,
believe
as
so.
far as we know, even maybe the Northeast.
Oh, wow.
And it is a net zero energy building, which means that the amount of energy that we use does not exceed the amount of energy that we create. It's really a lovely, lovely building. It was built along with our excellent contractors that we worked with. We also had volunteers, and some of the youth came in to help and put the straw bales in and put the plaster on. And it is a breathable, lovely, beautiful place to work in, and it feels really nice to be in there. You probably should tell them more.
How many bales of hay went into that? Do you know?
Around 700
Okay.
bales. Yeah, it was a pretty impressive amount, but the benefit is that the building is super energy efficient.
Right,
So
right.
we had somebody come in and use a thermal camera to measure the R value of our walls, and they're all exceeding 80, an R value of 80, which is, you know, most homes have an R value, our walls have an R value of like 10 to 14 if we're lucky.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
If it's well insulated, right?
If it's well insulated. So, it's a kind of an old technique, right, in a way.
Right.
Homes used to be built out of, organic material and clay and mud, and we have, taken elements of that into modern building technique to get the best of both worlds.
That's an impressive thing in itself. But anyway, it's important for people to understand a little bit about your commitment to environmental stewardship, and I think that's a great feather in your cap, because it helps us understand that you're not just it's not just about getting people to garden. It's understanding more holistically about how everything kind of interacts with each other. Yep. Is that right, Tshijuka?
Yes, I think ultimately we want to be here for our community, and we also want to be the best stewards of what we have and the things that we can offer. We want to manage our energy efficiently, our resources efficiently, so that we can give the most to the community that we serve.
And pass it on to the next generation too.
And pass it on to the next generation.
Yeah, and these are important commitments that an organization has, right? So Amelia, when you're thinking about the future of Vines and where you're headed as far as an organization is concerned, what are some of the plans that you all have that you've been thinking about?
Yeah. Well, just to, add on to what Tshijuka said, having an organization, as that is financially sustainable is really important, so you can keep going and keep serving the community and invest the dollars that you have in those services instead of in your facilities. So that was one of the benefits of building to net zero energy. So we don't have a utility bill, which means we can put more money into our services. We're going to be continuing to build more community gardens. We're building one on Floral Ave this fall. And then we're going to be looking at possibilities for other growing spaces moving forward. We're going to take a little bit of a breather from so much, expansion, because for those who have seen our growth over the last 10 years, it's been pretty exponential. And we want to make sure that we've got, our house in order to then take on that next wave of expansion. But we're going to continue to build more gardens right now.
Well, it would seem that if you're going to build gardens, you need people. So It's like you need to fill it with something, some people that are going to be able to tend and care for it, right?
Yeah.
You don't just want to plant another weed patch, right?
Yeah. The wonderful thing about our community gardens is that they're run by volunteers from the neighborhood.
Right,
so
right.
When we find a vacant lot, or someone reaches out to us and says, "Hey, would you build a garden here?" Our first question is, who's in this neighborhood who's excited about this?
Right.
And how can we get them involved from the beginning so that they can own this space and share that passion with their neighbors and bring more people in. And it's always just a wonderful process to, build relationships off of somebody who's already in the neighborhood who can champion the project.
Yeah, champions are important for every organization, but more so even for volunteer organizations like Vines. So Tshijuka, how many kids are involved in the process of gardening outside of just do you know? Do you have like a lot of volunteers who are youth that are part of?
We do have youth volunteers. They usually come with their schools, or they come through BOCES for like internships and things of that nature. So there are a lot of youth that are interested in gardening.
And does this open a door for agriculture? Do you think for some urban kids? Do they?
Yes.
And
yes.
has that happened? Do you know?
We have a handful of folks who've come through Vines who have stayed in food and agriculture. The reality is less than 2% of Americans are working in agriculture, so it's not a high percentage of Americans, but a lot of our folks, if they're not going on to some kind of a career in food or agriculture, they're still taking those skills with them for the rest of their lives and are continuing to garden. We just had one of our youth from the first 2 years of our program came back to visit, and he picked up some seeds from us to help, because he's growing a garden at home with his kids. And I have a feeling, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I have a feeling if he hadn't gone through our program, he would not be gardening with his kids at this point.
Right.
So it does impact their lives for years and years to come. And, what a great activity to garden with your kids, to have something where, you can, something you can share and pass down from generation to generation.
And Tshijuka, you are looking for applicants for your program too.
I am definitely looking for applicants in my program, because farming doesn't just teach you how to farm.
Right.
Farming is hard work sometimes. You have to do a lot. You have to plant the seeds. You have to wait for them to grow. You have to be patient. You have to pay attention. Those are all skills that you can use for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And working with others too.
And working with others, effective communication. These are all things that the youth that work at Grow Binghamton have to do every single day.
So to let our listeners and our viewers know, again, the important things that we've talked about, how do they get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me by calling our office, 607-205-8108. I am at extension number 4. And you can also go to our website, which is www.vinesgardens.org. And all of our programs are there, and you can apply for all the programs through that website.
And at that website too, you can find the CSAs that we talked about as well.
Yeah, you can sign up for our Farm Share program. You can submit an application to Grow Binghamton or our community gardens. And you can also sign up to volunteer. So we do have information on our website about volunteer opportunities. All of our programs are run with volunteers. They're the lifeblood of the organization. We have a small staff of 8 that run all of our programs and serve thousands of people every single year, but it's really the volunteers who make it possible for us to have that level of impact with the size organization we have.
It's a pretty impressive amount of work that goes on in a small organization like Vines. I want to thank both of you for being on Encounter today. It's been a pleasure having this discussion with both of you and talking about how we can help manage and care for the earth. It's always good to hear stories of the building that's going on and the gardening that's going on, and getting our feet and our hands into the mud of the earth, because I think there's something to be said about getting dirty too, right? One of the things that I always told my kids is that they haven't done their job unless they get dirty. So thank you for both for being on today. And for all of you, I would hope that today you would be kind and caring with each other, but also take a moment to go outside and just look at God's good earth and give thanks for it.